And we are live. Want to welcome you to our Friends and Family online meetup tonight. My name is Seth Mulder, and I will be hosting or co-hosting, I should say, with a bunch of other amazing people. I want to give a shout out to everybody who made this possible, all of the online entrepreneurs who put this event together, really grassroots to get the message out about something we're all really passionate about. We're talking about tonight one word: athletes. Athletes, okay? And when you say athletes, all of a sudden everybody has this different, image in their mind what an athlete is. And we're going to have a really unique take tonight. And I really have to thank one of my good friends, Dr. Brett Brimhall down in Phoenix, Arizona, for kind of reminding me about how to talk about tonight. Because sometimes we could say athlete, and all of a sudden you're like, 90% of the people are thinking, yeah, that's not me, right? And the other 10% are like, oh yeah, that's me, right? We're talking to 100% of the people who need this message, okay? And if you're listening to this, that's probably you. Let me explain. When we talk about athletes, we're typically talking about people who are in need of or have specific needs: energy, endurance, performance. Inflammation is something that's constantly on their mind. Maybe some discomfort. You might call it pain, right? No pain, no gain. We've heard that. Recovery is a really big topic for athletes. But I want to bring this down to the most generic and, frankly, I think important level when we talk about athletes. And that is to really the average person. And here is why. Okay, we're going to be hearing some from some elite athletes tonight and people all across the spectrum. But I just finished a book recently called Younger Next Year. Younger Next Year. Wow, mind expanding, blew my mind. And the premise of this MD who wrote the book was that you could actually be functionally younger next year. Your body could literally perform, act, signal, do things like a younger person. They have, and that, by the way, that book, just so you know, women, that book is for men. Okay. And I read the whole book. I was like, man, I wish I could talk to, my wife about all these things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but I mean, it's a man's book. Okay. It's talking about man things. Don't take that the wrong way. But I was so pleasantly surprised when I finished the book that they actually have a Younger Next Year for women. Okay, so I'm plugging that book. This book has changed my life. Okay, in the last 3 months that I've been studying it, it's changing my business as a wellness entrepreneur and as an advocate, a real champion of health span and lifespan for every athlete. Your body is always sending signals, okay, athletes, to either decay or to grow, to either break down or build up. And you can actually cause your body, you can make your body send more of those growth signals and more of those build up signals. And one of the most important things you can do is to actually exercise. In other words, become an athlete. All right. 6 days a week, the rest of your life. Don't get depressed if you don't know how to do it. Go read the book. All right. If you can't walk on the beach for 5 minutes right now, okay, they can show you how you can start at that level and still become an athlete and absolutely transform your life. Your blood cells are replaced every 3 months. Your body is dynamic. Stop giving into the idea that you missed the boat. You are the boat. Okay, what we're talking about tonight, becoming an athlete. And I mean the athlete that walks 20 minutes, the athlete that walks down the street 40 minutes a day, 6 days a week. That's what I'm talking about, if that's your level, okay? They did strength training in elderly homes, okay, in care facilities. They did strength training. And people, every single person, basically across the board in every single category, they benefited. People who were bedridden went to walkers. People who were in walkers went to life without walkers. It benefited everybody. So it really is a benefit to become an athlete. So having said that, tonight we're talking about how athletes can perform better because the second big thing that I'm real big advocate about after exercise is sending signals to your body, naturally sending signals to your body to actually change. So with that, we'll get to the real speakers on the event. I'm going to go to our first speaker tonight, Jessica Crate. Jessica, you are up.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on, Seth. And wow, I loved your introduction to what we have our hands on here, especially when it comes to athletes, because, Bill Bowerman, the founder of Nike, says, if you have a body, you are an athlete. So if you have a body and you breathe oxygen, you're an athlete. So you got to treat it as such, right? And, no matter what we do, we're breathing oxygen. So myself, I am from British Columbia, Canada, dual citizen. So hello to all my Canucks out there. But I grew up as an athlete and competed on the world stage in triathlon. I was on Team USA for the marathon for the Olympics in 2012. And the reason I'm here today was because that didn't happen. Have you guys ever failed or had a moment where you're like, oh my goodness, this is not where I thought my life should be? And that happened to me in 2011. I fractured my foot in the Boston Marathon. Ended up finishing the marathon on a broken foot. But as you can imagine, I ended up in a medical tent. And I just realized at that point that I had to figure out how to stop breaking my body down. If any of you are competitive athletes on here, or even if you're just like, hey, New Year's resolution, I'm going to go to the gym for the first time in months, and you feel those aches and pains, that's what I would deal with on a constant basis. It was, trouble going to sleep. It was waking up. It was competing at a high level and getting injured, then trying to recover and compete again. And that vicious cycle. And for me, I was just like, oh my goodness, I need to stop taking ibuprofen and I need to stop this rat race of getting injured all the time. Somebody introduced me, they saw my struggle and they said, Jessica, you've got to start this little yellow pill. And I started taking Protandim Nerf 2 back in 2011. And what I can share with you guys, because we can't say we cure, prevent, or treat any disease, but this product helped me reduce inflammation. And within a couple of weeks, I was noticing no pain in my foot. I started competing again. I recovered in half the time my therapist said I would, and stayed injury free. I ran some of my best times after injury, and then went on to compete in 5 world championships and stay injury free for 8 years. And I say 8 years because last year in 2020, end of January 2020, I tore my ACL snow skiing, completely obliterated my knee, tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus. I mean, the works. My doctor was like, you could not have destroyed your knee anymore. So I hope you had fun skiing. And my body, though, I've been taking all of our products. I drink Axio like it's going out of style. I love our Protandim Tri-Synergizer. I use everything in our product suite except our pet product. But I've been using these products for the last 9 years. And what that does for your body is it keeps your body functioning optimally. So lucky for me, some would call it unlucky, but lucky for me, I got injured 8 years later and really had to put it to the test. And had one of the top surgeons here in Park City, Utah, work on my knee. We live in a world-class area for snow skiing and winter sports. Recovered in half the time from ACL surgery. They said, yeah, you're probably not going to get back running until maybe November, October, if that. I was back running by June, July, recovered in half the time. My knee is stronger than ever. I just got off the mountain this morning skiing. So the products work 100% of the time. It's incredible when you can reduce inflammation, rev up your energy, and get your body functioning optimally. And doing that over time leads to massive success. I feel healthier, stronger. I recover better. I actually sleep through the night. I wake up feeling more refreshed. I have more energy throughout the day. It's empowering to know that no matter where you're at and what type of athlete you are, or even if you are, getting into certain types of athletics, but it sounds like if you're not reading the book Younger Next Year, you better and get working out. So I hope that helps, but I absolutely will never stop taking these products. And I can't wait to see what is coming next with LifeVantage. So thanks so much for having me on, guys. I'm going to have to figure out, Seth, where I can get one of those CEO hats, but appreciate what you guys are doing on here. And thanks to all the rock star athletes that are coming up next.
Wow. Jessica, thank you so much. Loved just your perspective. You let me know, PM me your address. Tell me what color gray, blue, pink, black. We'll send you a CEO hat. I want to go to a former high school athlete, a good buddy of mine up in Idaho. I see he's got his earbuds on. He's ready to rock and roll. Still playing the sport that he loves. But Jacob Blackburn, you're up, my brother.
So Jacob Blackburn here. I've been a athlete, a basketball player since I was 5 years old, played high school ball, could have played Division II basketball, but went on a mission for my church. I've just always loved the sport. I've always loved being an athlete and competing, right? And that kind of came to a little bit of a halt for me when I was 35. Right now I'm 40. I still am very active. But when I was 35, I was playing football with some friends, wore some old soccer cleats, and slightly tore my, had an issue with my foot, right? The tendon in the ball of my foot. And I couldn't work out. I couldn't play basketball. Completely immobilized me. And I had a friend who's actually from Canada, Kylan Kovacs. He was a foot doctor, and he told me to come in and he diagnosed it. And he said, "Look, we'll do some stretches. We're going to do some steroid shot, X-ray, and you'll be good to go. It doesn't even look that bad." Well, I stayed off it for 3 months. It just started flaring up again. Anytime that I tried to play basketball or work out, it flared up. And I'm like, "Well, what do? I'm taking ibuprofen, I'm stretching." And he's like, "Well, wear this boot in bed and it'll help with the inflammation in the morning." I did that for 2 months. It completely held me back from playing basketball and being able to work out and being active, right? Which is a huge part of my life. And then once I was introduced to nutrigenomics, right, activating the NRF2 gene, I started doing that. And by the 3rd month, it calmed down so that I could play basketball again and work out again so that I was happier. And another specific athlete recovery story, like Jessica shared, when I was 39 last year, I was playing full court basketball. It was the last point of the game, and I jammed my knee really bad trying to block a guy and then landing, keeping us from falling into the stage. And I didn't know what I did, but I knew that I could probably recover on my own without maybe physical therapy. I was hoping that would work that way. And so I started doubling up on using nutrigenomics that way. And I recovered in 3.5 weeks. Fast forward to backtrack to the end of 2020. I actually got an X-ray on my knee because it still flares up every once in a while when I do some explosive running. And the doctor said I had an avulsion fracture and a partially ruptured patella tendon. So if you look that up, the recovery for that, I should have been in a brace and on crutches for 6 to 8 weeks. Folks, at the age of 39, I was playing basketball and pickleball in 3.5 weeks. So yes, using gene activation works for us athletes so that we can stay active, stay happy. And so thanks so much for letting me share, Seth.
Wow, thank you. Appreciate that, Jacob. Let's go to Puerto Rico to a different game with a different ball and a different net. Ricky, are you with us? Ricky Arenas from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I'm here.
Take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I feel humble and blessed, to be invited over here. And it's awesome, it's my first time, hearing from a lot of athletes, a lot of people that, try sports and do it regularly. So for me, it's awesome to be here and to share, my experience. So I'm 38 years old. Actually, I'm a dad. I have a 13-year-old kid. Actually, he plays tennis too. Way back, I started playing tennis, at 13 years old. So I played college over here in Puerto Rico. And actually, my story is pretty hard because, I got to be my number one racket in my team. But I had to play, a lot of matches. So I have to play my singles and my doubles. And when you see the time of me playing back then, it was like maybe 4.5 hours in court, between those 2 matches. And I got a lot of cramping. I got cramps like maybe 50 times in, all my college years. So it was, but in my mind, there was a lot, in every match, I was, going through that mental stuff about me not trying to get cramped, not to lose the game because of that. So a few years later, 4 years back, actually, I got from a friend this conversation about nutrigenomics and, NRF2 and NRF1, and I didn't know what it was that. So I listened to him. I got, the information and started using it. For me, it's been like a blessing because, I'm a professional instructor, actually, and I like to train. I like to train at the gym. I like to train the court on and off. A few months back, I started playing beach tennis. So for me, hitting all those types of workout and recover better, it's really important. And when you add that, the mental part, when you're tired and you cannot recover and you want to go and work out again, or you want to go, do your training because you have a competition that is, due in 1 month, and you are still like fighting with the inflammation, and you're fighting with the recovery phase, and you're fighting to get a better performance. So all those things line up, and you start questioning yourself. And in those process, I got a few I got injured. So I got back, I got stuck over there. And for me, in these 4 years, using the Nerf RF2, I use everything. I use my Axio, I use my Vitality Stack, I use the NAD. For me, it's been, like really awesome, actually, because I've been able to do the same things that I did like 10 years ago in less time, with much less time, because, I got to work, I got to, teach my son, train him. And, all the parents out there, that when you're a dad or a mom, you don't sleep, more than 6 hours. So your day becomes, more rigid, it becomes more longer. So for me to, every morning getting up, and have a mental sharpness to go again and get back at it at the gym, and go next, in 2 hours next to the gym, I go and play tennis, and then come here and then go to work. It's been, a blessing. I feel like great. I recommend this, the nutrigenomics and flipping the switches. If you're not doing it, you should be doing it. Exercise is a way of life for me. So for me, it's really important. And actually, I'm on a mission right now. So I cannot, keep this information for myself. So my mission is, everybody go through my path is going to know about this. It's going to hurt 1,000 times, either in the, through Facebook, Instagram, name it, you name it. I'm talking to everybody because, it's been a real blessing for me and my family.
Awesome. Ricky, so appreciate that. We're recording this tonight, so your message is going to continue to go out to other athletes and those who know that they need to make that transformation. So appreciate it. I want to switch the other side of the country and go to a man who spends some time knocking his knees on the pavement, who does a little running. Greg, are you with us tonight?
I'm here. Thank you.
Take it away, Greg.
All right. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I've been running since I was like 12, and not competitively, like, just road races, 10Ks, half marathons. And they said when you turn 50, you're going to slow down. So I thought, no, I'm not going to slow down. So I kept pushing it and pushing it. I was about 54. I was racing a half marathon, and I was pushing it. My times were going, they were longer. My mile per mile times were going in the 8s, and I pushed it down into the low 7s at a half marathon. At the end of the race, I was on the massage table, and the massage therapist couldn't get a cramp out of my leg. She looked at me, probably thought, well, he's older, he's got a cramp, could be a blood clot. She called the paramedics. They hooked me up to an EKG, and I had, unbeknownst to me, I have an irregular EKG, which they said was the tombstone blip. So they figured, okay, he's got the tombstone blip, he's got this cramp, he's had a heart attack. So they rushed me to the hospital. They put this dye up my femoral artery. They do the echocardiogram. Turns out my arteries are huge. The cardiologist says, we don't know what happened. He comes back a little later. He said, you've suffered an athlete's heart bout. If you push yourself too hard, you can create your own heart attack after several of these bouts. Many people have done it. So I started looking for something. I thought, well, I don't want to slow down. Started looking for something. My cousin introduced me to this, started using it, and because of the heart association study. And the side benefit is, though, my times went from the high 8s back down into the 7s. I'm 58 now. I can still run a 5-mile clip with my mile times in the 740s. And my last one, I can even get in the low 6s and occasionally into the 5s. And that was, to me, was unheard of. I was struggling to do that in my early 50s. Now I'm 58 and I can do it pretty much. And the problem is that this product is so good, I can be inconsistent and still do that. So it's awesome. I'll never stop taking it.
Awesome, Greg. Wow, powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to go to our last athlete. I'm going to bring my good friend Lillian on from Florida to share a different. This is the dark horse athlete, or I should say the dark dog athlete. Lillian, why don't you take it away and you let me know when you want me to show the visuals.
Sure. So, hi, I'm Lillian, and I'm a dog trainer, and I'm going to talk to one of my students. And before that, I have this quote that I heard from Dr. Brimble. He said, small positive lifestyle changes can over time add or subtract to our healthy lifespan. And if you have dogs, you know that sadly their only bad thing is that they don't live as long as we live, right? So for us that train and compete with dogs, that time, if we can extend the time, you know, you put, like the athletes, you put years and years into training, and then for you to be able to compete as long as possible is really, really important. So this is a dog that has been NRF2 activated since she's 4 years old. And the picture that Seth can put up now.
It's
so yes. So I did this as like a little game. So in this picture, the dog is, one of them is 6 years old. The other one is when she was 8 years old, then when she was 11 years old and 12 years old. She actually, when we did this picture, she was celebrating her 15th agility trial championship. And we did this as a fun thing because I was challenging people, like, can you tell me what is the chronological order of these pictures? Because you can't really tell by the height of how much this dog is jumping. So two things come to mind. First of all, there's no placebo in dogs, right? So this dog is getting her little pill in her food since she's 4 years old. She doesn't know what she's taking. And you probably can't read it, but this is a dog that would normally, in her normal, when she got started as a young dog, was jumping 16 inches. And then you have the ability, as your dog ages, when the dog gets to be 6, it's considered a senior. So you can, or they call it veteran. So you can jump in 4-inch less. And then as you keep on competing, you can keep on lowering the height. So the bottom of the letter D, as you can see, the bar is just about 8 inches from the ground, but look how high she's jumping. So obviously she doesn't know that she has to jump lower. And if she's doing it, it's because she feels like she's able to do it. So to me, this is just, this is a dog, again, that has never been injured. And actually 2 weekends ago, this is when she celebrated her 17th. So she added 2 more agility trial championships. So just so you have an idea, this dog, to get to that, to those titles, had to have almost 700 qualifying runs. That means runs without any mistakes, without dropping bars, without making any other, we can make lots of mistakes. So it's a very well-trained dog, and it's a very willing dog. But I mean, this is a 13-year-old that you see now that is, I mean, look at that form. And, you know, to me, that's why I want to read that quote, because I think this is the perfect, like the poster child of, you know, these little things that you do day after day after day, how you can prolong a healthy, active lifespan. And I guess that's what we want for everyone.
Wow, Lillian, thank you so much. When you sent me the text, we were getting prepped for this last week, and you had an athlete story. It was a dog. I said, of course, Lillian, I mean, your mission is for pets and their owners. I mean, there's a connection, right? It's not like this independent pet. So powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. Loving all of these athlete stories. I'm going to transition to Eileen now. I want to leave you with this. And I love that quote that Jessica shared with us. If you have a body, you are an athlete. Your body is either getting signals internally to either break down, to either decay, or signals to build up and to grow. And what we're talking about with nutrigenomics, with biohacking, what we're talking about at LifeVantage, the Protandim and Tri-Synergizer, is sending those signals to the body so that you can build up, so that you can grow. I want to close with something we do for all of our friends and family, the Friends and Family discount, how our current customers can actually send saving discounts to people that they know, and in turn also get $10 off any of their orders. Eileen, you want to wrap this up in the next 2 minutes?
I will. Thank you. So guys, I'm grateful to be able to share this with you tonight. So let's just really fast go through the Friends and Family discount. If you have any questions, get back to the person who invited you to this, because they can explain it in further depth. So we all love to share things, and we think of family and friends and animals that we want to have the healthiest life. So like Seth was saying, that we share $10 with your friends and family, and you get $10 off your next order. Your parents, it doesn't matter who you share this with, you share with them the coupon that I'm going to share with you, the link, and then they get $10 off their first order. So the exciting thing about this, there is no limit to the credits you can earn. Your credits are automatically put on your next time one order or subscription. The only fine print is that you must spend it by the end of the following month. So you share your link with people this month in January, it needs to be spent by the end of February. So super simple. So just think of who you need to share this with, send them your link, and connect them with who shared this with you. So the only thing I need you to remember on how to find your link, and you can get that from your friend, go to lifevantage.com. At lifevantage.com, at the bottom of the page is where your unique link is. Fill in the information. You'll find how to copy and paste your link into your favorite social media platforms. Also, you can log into your back office and you can go there, and there's the share 10, get 10, and there's the link already. And there's your credits that you have earned that you can spend. So the things I want you to remember is go to lifevantage.com, scroll to the bottom of the page for that link, and share away. So get your link, share with your loved ones, and feel better and do more.
Awesome, Eileen. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody for being here, especially my co-hosts who made this meetup, Friends and Family meetup, just off the charts. I'm reading through the chat box and how impressed everybody was. So thank you very much. We'll be back next week.